San Fermin Fiesta is known all over the world for the running of the bulls. The idea of getting into the old narrow streets of this city with 6 large fighting bulls is an attractive idea for young men from all over the world. There are no more slow boats to China or Wild West. The running of the bulls is one of the few challenges left in the modern world. It is also an event open to everyone. There are no fees to pay. You just have to be in the right place at the right time to take part in a great adventure. However, if you are contemplating running with the bulls, then make sure you do your research and definitely watch from a balcony the day before you actually take part. It is the only way to gain the insight you need for such an adventure. After the bull run is finished and the fighting bulls are in the corrals in the bull ring, they fire off 2 more rockets and then the fun begins. If you've timed your run and have reached the bull ring, then you have a further adventure when they release the vaquillas. These are young fighting cows who run around the arena causing havoc, knocking people over and tossing some into the air. They generally have the leather caps on the horns so damage is minimal, but watch out for the big cabestros that they release to get the fighting cows back into the corrals. If this madness is not enough, you can also join some of the young men that sit or lie down in front of the corral doors, waiting for the fighting cows to be released. The vaquillas then jump over the people or sometimes just plough straight through them. They occasionally release 2 fighting cows at the same time, which can make things even more exciting. It is certainly a good way to finish off your morning activities before heading to Bar Choco to swap stories with the rest of the bull runner.
Well, this morning it was rather dangerous, and we had the suelto, the loose bull, the one that was separated from the herd, down at the curve, and so it was dangerous. That's a different sensation than just the pure floating along if you're running well. It was dangerous this morning. That's a situation, nothing more. And I'm accustomed to bulls. I used to ride in the rodeo, so I rode bulls. Now I'm a professor here at the university.
San Fermin. It's just too good. It just feels great. It's the friends, the excitement, the adrenaline. It's all good.
I was running, the steers were up first again, fast as hell. And I was at a full blast, and Alan was in front of me, and I couldn't get speed because he was between the steer and the bull. And I started yelling, out of the way, like that. And as I did, the bull kind of hooked in, but not with the front, but with the side of the horn, just bumped me. Nothing. But I went right up in the air like that and came down on my feet in a full roll. Oh, yeah? But it was very smooth, easy. I don't know what the time on it was. Did you get the time?
About 3 minutes, I guess.
That long? Surprised, because they stayed bunched in a pack again and shut up. So they should be like that every day.
I went in with them, and there's some American kid in there, a nice kid, but dummy went over the newspaper, hitting the bulls as they were going across, and I went over and got him, and the last bull almost hooked him. I don't know, I pulled him off, and I said, Jesus, you can't do that, boy, You're putting other people in danger. He says, oh, I didn't know, I'm sorry. And as I was trying to lead him away from there, one of the officials came over and snagged him and says, "You come this way, boy," and he immediately went after him. He should have just made a break for it and got out of there.
Horace,
Hi, Jimmy.
how you been?
Been fine.
Did you run this morning?
Yes, I run.
I heard you've been having a great run with the women.
I needed it.
They're as dangerous as the bulls.
Is
buddy.
that the...
So this year, you own that entire street now. You know, everybody's happy. I've never seen anybody running better than you ran them this year.
The Bull Run in Pamplona is said to date back to the 13th century, but it was Hemingway who made it a world-renowned event after publishing his book Fiesta in 1926. The other book that has distracted people to participate was The Drifters by Michener, which was published in 1971. Hemingway first came to San Fermin in 1923 and paid his final visit to the Fiestas in 1959. On his second visit in 1924, on the 13th of July, Hemingway was an eyewitness to a death in the running of the bulls when 22-year-old Esteban Labora was fatally gored. This was the second death in the bull run since records began. That event made a deep impression on Hemingway and set off his concept of the duality of death and fiesta, which he later set down in his novel Fiesta. In total, there has been 16 deaths in the bull run in Pamplona since records began in 1910. The majority of these were Spanish, with only 2 being foreigners, a 29-year-old Mexican in 1935, and more recently Matthew Tassio, a 22-year-old American student.
The only American to die in the Encierro was a boy named Matthew Tassio, who came here basically one night, went out and got drunk and had a great time, was up most of the night and said, "I'm going to run with the bulls." Didn't know anything about it, and he fell down and he didn't know to stay down, and he lifted himself up and there was a bull right behind him at a full gallop and just whacked him with a horn
and kept going. The bull just kept going. He was dead. The bull wanted to push him out of the way.
Into him, basically, almost, taking out his abdomen.
Ernest Hemingway never actually ran with the bulls, but his grandson John Hemingway has run quite a few times, and John's son Michael has photographed the Fiesta and bull run. The Fiesta has not changed much over the years, but the major difference is the number of people attending the Fiesta and the number of runners in the bull run each morning. In the last 30 years, the bull run has become more dangerous as the course has become more and more crowded. But this is just part of the modern world, with inexpensive global travel and the fact that the bull run is reported across the world's media.
Now you came over to Pamplona, your first visit was in 1974.
Yes.
Now, it's 2007. How has it changed in those years?
Well, it's much bigger. It's much noisier. It's much more expensive. Because and the run itself is more crowded.
Yeah.
It used to be that the tourists, which I'm a tourist, were the small minority of the people running, and now the majority of the people who are running in are tourists. Most of the tourists who run, they run once or twice and then they go home, and maybe they have a good time, maybe not. But some of us keep coming back year after year, and what makes that someone comes back year after year, this I don't know.
The Bull Run is also becoming an event for young men from all over the world, and every morning over half the runners will be first-timers, especially on the first few days and the weekends. Most of these first-timers will have done little research and will not have done due diligence by watching from a balcony first. This means that there are many accidents waiting to happen. However, the Bull Run is a very dangerous event for all the participants, and the actions of some of these first-timers can result in even experienced runners getting gored or injured.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun today. They were on the right. Medina had them right on the horn, right on the right, and I saw Medina all the way. Yep, I picked up Medina. So did Bob. He said, "Bob, there's the perfect."
Well, that's interesting because when they passed us at high end, they two or three of them. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, as the bulls were coming down into the Callejon, one of the great runners of this Fiesta took the first bull in. Well, there started to become a pileup on the right side, then followed with another set of two bulls. Julian Medina, the greatest runner out here, he comes down the street with two bulls behind him. There was no way out but to go into the pileup. For some reason, the last bull swung around and went into him, just ripping him up. He wouldn't stop. He just kept goring him and goring him and goring him. And for us, we can't imagine to see the great one being gored or going down. This is heartfelt from all the runners out here. We can't imagine this ever happening to this guy. So we'll just sit back and wait and see what happens, right? He wouldn't stop.
And he was caught on the pile, or
he came flying into it like this, and then the other bull swung around and went after him. Because you can see Julian, as the run was coming up, he was dropping back and dropping back.
puestos en pie, guarde un momento de silencio como homenaje póstumo al joven Joaquín Esparza Sarasíbar, que esta mañana ha fallecido en el encierro.